investigate, does it pay to be a whistleblower? They say they do it to protect the public. We're talking about whistleblowers who take employers to the mat.
It's not only allowed, it's encouraged. There's a federal agency to protect whistleblowers from retaliation, but now that agency is being criticized. Investigative reporter Vicki Nguyen is here to explain. Vicki.
Raj and Jess, it is called the OSHA Whistleblower Protection Program. It was created to shield the workers on the front lines of industries that affect our safety. But tonight you will hear from insiders who say the agency is hurting the very people it should be helping, and that puts all of us at risk.
The fertilizer plant explosion in West Texas. The blowout of the Deepwater Horizon in the Gulf.
1666.
The San Bruno pipeline rupture. All fatal events burned into the mind of Darrell Whitman.
You could see it happening in front of you. It's like watching an accident in slow motion.
He says they're examples of what can happen when OSHA's whistleblower protection program fails to meet its mission. Whitman has worked as a whistleblower investigator for the past 5 years in Region 9, which covers 4 states and Guam. He examines complaints from workers who've been fired for speaking up about problems that can harm the public. The program addresses 22 areas, ranging from corporate fraud to pipeline safety to nuclear power.
So when someone from one of those industries comes to blow the whistle, people in the government should pay attention.
Absolutely. Congress intends that.
Is that happening?
No.
Shortly after he started his job in 2010, Whitman discovered a disturbing pattern of what he considered mismanagement in his office and pressure to clear cases quickly.
I was told by my supervisor, oh, just conduct an interview and dismiss it.
Before you knew any of the facts?
Correct.
To dismiss these whistleblower concerns?
Correct.
Whitman points to 2 cases he calls slam dunks, cases where his investigations found companies broke the law, firing workers who reported serious safety concerns.
There's really no room to cut corners.
For 3 years, Aaron Stuckey worked as a flight service specialist for Lockheed Martin. He helped pilots plan safe paths by alerting them to weather conditions.
I want that pilot to know everything that they need to know so that the pilot and everybody aboard that aircraft can safely get to their destination and see their families that night.
From an aircraft hangar in Arizona, he recounts what led him to blow the whistle.
I felt it was a morally right thing to do, absolutely. I've always believed in disclosure. I've always believed in being upfront and being honest.
Stuckey wasn't certified to assist pilots in all parts of the U.S., just in 3 mountain states. But often calls came from locations he wasn't familiar with. He says managers instructed him not to reveal his actual location when pilots called for help.
I would say, well, this isn't safe and this is really deceptive to the aviation community, and I'm not comfortable with that.
After repeated warnings, he was fired for not following Lockheed's policy. The company told us in a statement his claim of retaliation was found to be without merit.
The whole compromised testing process technically could put the whole nation at risk.
Mike Madry tells a similar story. For a decade, he served as a quality assurance manager for M-Lab P&K, a major indoor air quality testing company in the U.S. In 2009, Madry documented multiple labs misusing the device that records test results for asbestos, a cancer-causing substance found in many older homes and schools. He said it called into question the accuracy of thousands of tests.
It can result in people dying.
He says he also found this San Bruno lab was cutting corners by conducting tests in just 20 seconds instead of the standard time of 5 to 10 minutes.
I asked repeatedly how these tests were able to be done in such a short period of time, and I never got a clear answer from management.
He too was fired. He says the company told him it was because he failed to return from medical leave. M-Lab declined to comment, citing pending litigation. Whitman found both men faced retaliation for reporting safety issues. His investigation called for the companies to rehire them with back pay. Instead, he says Region 9 managers mishandled the cases and dismissed them.
It creates victims for the whistleblowers that come to us. A lot of them suffer more retaliation from the agency than they did from their company.
In fact, Whitman was so upset about the outcome of Madry's case, he asked the National OSHA office to investigate. It did, and agreed with him.
And they eventually found it as merit.
Your original finding?
Yes.
Madry and Stuckey are just 2 of 8 whistleblowers we spoke with who work in safety-sensitive sectors: airlines, hazardous waste, trucking, and nuclear industries. all believe Region 9 management mishandled their complaints.
This is a second report.
Whitman believes the system is set up to get rid of cases rather than investigate them. Just look at the cases in Region 9 awarded merit, which is a victory for the whistleblower. Numbers show OSHA issued merit findings 16 times out of 562 investigations since 2009. That's just 2.8% of the cases. Nationally, the numbers are equally dismal at 2.7%. Whitman shared with us these emails between multiple investigators in his office, highlighting concerns over pressure to close out more cases and meet quotas.
It was always first and foremost about how can we do these things faster.
This former whistleblower investigator agreed to speak with us only if we disguised her.
If all you're doing is trying to do production line of investigation, you're not assisting anybody.
What's more, Whitman points to his reports. He says they were altered by management to change his conclusions without his consent.
And what is this an example of to you?
It's an example of falsification of documents.
It's your name.
It's my name, and it's not my report.
He's lodged formal complaints all the way up to the U.S. Secretary of Labor, and he's faced discipline for giving whistleblowers internal information about how he thought their cases were mishandled.
I think as soon as you broadcast anything, I'll be fired.
The irony is not lost on Whitman, an investigator from OSHA's whistleblower office, now a whistleblower himself. But he wants the public to know the system designed to protect our safety is broken.
You either quit your job or you keep your mouth shut. Because if the company doesn't fire you and blacklist you, OSHA will destroy your life. As a consequence, there's a lot of things that aren't being reported. And that's the scarier part.
OSHA Region 9 declined our interview request, citing an ongoing personnel investigation. Nationally, OSHA ignored us for 3 weeks. Then yesterday, a spokesman called the allegations preposterous. He said nationally, OSHA has reorganized its program and added more staff to help with the backlog of cases. But here's the deal, Jess and Marsh. These are very serious concerns brought forward by credible investigators with mounds of documents, and no one at the National OSHA office will talk to us on camera about them.
I'm sure you'll stay on the story. Thank you, Vicki.